Well, hello. Hey, this is Federal Prison Talk. My name is Sean. Hey, I'm going to be cooking some spaghetti tonight from scratch, pretty much. I mean, I'm not taking the tomatoes and boiling them down, but I don't know, using sauce in the can. So I did that once. Boiled the potatoes down, parboiled them, put them in an ice, in I shocked them in the ice bed, and a bowl of ice water. Anyways, cooked it all down. I couldn't taste the difference. Anyways, playing my little intro here, and then we're going to talk about prison camps while we cook. Walking down this rocky road, wondering where my life is leading, rolling on to the better end. Finding out along the way what it takes to keep the living. You should know how it feels, my friend. Ooh. Alrighty then. Just take this off. Alright, hey. I'm back. So, hey guys, I'm making spaghetti. You know, they make that in prison too. You'd be surprised when they come up. They actually have a hamburger in a pouch that you can buy in prison off commissary. So, guys, I only went to a prison camp. I don't have any tattoos. I don't plan on getting it. Nothing against people who have tattoos, just not my thing, man. Um, and prison camp, guys, it's kind of like going to high school, maybe a rough high school. Uh, We're talking to 3 or 4 guys this last couple weeks, and a woman who just went in too. Did a show with her about 3 4 weeks ago, and I got to send her email back from Court Links. But you get indicted, right? Now pretrial is it's before the trial. Pretrial is a period that normally, because it didn't cover. I'm going to tell you the whole federal judicial system blows my mind. Because I was always taught you have a right to face your accuser, you have a right to have a jury of your peers, and you're innocent until proven guilty. And hearsay and anything a reasonable doubt is not enough to convict you. All wrong in the feds, guys. They have a grand jury that you never meet. I think it's 18 people on it. And I think they're on the payroll. And maybe there's a whole bunch of them, but they just get called in. And this grand jury that you'll never meet meets in secret with the prosecutor and the DA and all the agents and everybody that's against you. And they all meet in a secret place, and they decide on a reasonable doubt, on a hunch, on hearsay, because I waved to my neighbor who deals drugs. I didn't even know the guy. I just waved to him. He was out there one day, right? And they were doing a raid on his house to see me wave. They thought it was a signal. Next thing you know, I'm involved in a conspiracy. That's how hearsay, reasonable doubt, hunch. Everything I was taught is wrong. So they indict you, and then they'll tell you. Sometimes you get a target letter first before they indict you. Sometimes you get a warning. I got my house raided. A year later, they indicted me. I guess that's a heads up warning. And they're watching you this whole time. And they're but all they need is this some officer undercover, some James Comey guy to win 86 and 47 on seashells. And next thing you know, you're indicted. Which means, hey, we had a secret meeting. You couldn't come. You wouldn't have been able to come even if you knew about it. And we all decided you're guilty. We're going to give you a chance to go to court and prove your innocence. If you're a violent guy and you got a record and they don't trust you, they're going to lock you up. But I haven't even. They're going to lock you up. I was 4 years on pretrial, and some people get locked up the whole time. I was out on a $50,000 bond. I didn't have to put up the money. They tell me if you don't show up for court, we'll get that 50,000 if it takes the rest of your life. We'll attach and garnish every penny that you that we can find. So they asked my family to sign, and they said, "Hell no, we're done with him. He's been in rehab, jails, and now it's prison. Oh, we don't want nothing to do with him." So they still gave it to me. No Eagle prison. I wasn't a flight risk. But here's the thing: 4 years. Imagine the guy, so I'm on the outside. I get to go to work. They made me do a drug program called Newbridge in Berkeley for a year. Then I stayed in Silver House for another 3 years, wondering if year by year by year, am I ever going to get sentenced? Am I going to go to prison? I know I am, right? But people don't believe you. You know, the last couple guys I've been talking to, 2 years, 3 years. Hell, this guy 7 years still on pretrial. 7 years still on pretrial. Mark, how you doing, Mark? If you're listening, and Mark's lawyer said he'd come on the show. Mark can't talk about his case, but 7 years on pretrial, and then you still got the prison sentence. Then you got it's usually 3 years federal probation. For me, it was raided my house. A year later, indictment, 4 years pretrial, 52-month sentence, 4 years, 4 months. Got a year off with RDAP and some extra time for thank you Trump. Then 3 years of federal probation, but it was 11 years of my life. Always under somebody's radar, you know. Always under somebody's radar. So, anyways, you're watching this show. Has that happened to you guys? You're just searching the web. You're looking for stuff on. Your lawyer says you're going to a camp. You don't know that for sure. They have custody level points and they have sentencing guideline points. My sentencing guideline points are 24. If you tell on yourself, they take a couple off. It's called accountability. Basically, you snitch on yourself. If they put you in a big room. They try to get you to tell on other people. They tried to get me, and they all pissed off. Well, Dave always said when he picked her up that you were here. Who? Dave, your buddy with the truck? They're trying to get me. See, I don't know any. I'm here to talk about me. They shut up. They all went out of the room. Pulled my lawyer out. He comes back. Actually, it was she. And I went through 3 lawyers because of conflicts of interest. I had 9 co-defendants. She comes back and goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "They're trying to get me to talk about other people. You're talking about me. You said that's all I got to do. You're trying to be sneaky. I ain't snitching." Half of them snitched on me, but that's regardless. Anyways, so I finally signed the paper. I tell on myself. Right? I mean, they already know it. I'm not telling them anything they don't know. They're looking for hidden money, I guess. So here I am on a free trial. I've been out of prison 6 years. I got out. When did I get out? You should know this date. June 30th, 2019, right before the pandemic hit. And I went to the federal halfway house. And I got a month taken off. Another one for the first step back. I did 5 months there, and I went back to that sober living house in Oakland. What's up, fellas? Yeah, what's up? I'm the white boy in Oakland again. Living on High Street, 33rd and International Boulevard. Had a ghetto pass, you know. It was all good. And I stayed there for like a year or so. And then I moved to across the bay to Mountain View. Now I'm in Albuquerque. I got a job offer to work for Wings for Life. Helping other inmates getting out of prison and families that are locked up, help them. And long story. And I've been here for 5 years. And I got off. So if I got out in 2019, 3 years later, it would be 2022. It's 2025. Yeah, so I ran off paper 3 years. Off paper. That's a you're going to learn prison vocabulary wherever you go. If you're going to penitentiary and FCI medium and all that, you're going to have a whole nother language. In camp, I mean, let me show you a picture, guys. You won't see, I get killed in federal penitentiary for this. I'm hugging a black guy, a couple black guys behind me, different races, okay? It's one of my support groups. We do that in a camp, okay? We don't have a politics like that, although the paisas do. You guys know what a paisa is? That's like a Mexican. I just run all the prisons usually, I think. Paisas are Mexicans, but they got a green card. They got a permanent resident alien card. So I mean, they're not citizens, but they're the next best thing. and they're treated like citizens. So if they have a visa and all that stuff that ICE is looking for now, they won't go to camp. But you got a permanent alien registration card, you're good to go. Okay, you're good to go. And they run the prison, and they have their special meetings and all that stuff. But the rest of us, and there's a few little some camps want to be tougher. But they'll go to see anybody in the chat room? Got people in the chat room. Got Ray Smith. I was indicted for something I did not do in South Florida, and the news made me look. Yeah, they are so good at that. You know, it's funny, Ray, man. When I after I got dieted and all that stuff, I read in the papers about myself, right? Funny they didn't come to me for my side of the story, how they made me look. You know what I mean? Nobody asked me my side of the story. They made me look like, well, it wasn't pretty. I'm sure you know. I went down to the Oakland Tribune and I tried to find that guy. I think his name was, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a Ray Taliaferro or something. I went down to the Oakland Tribune multimedia newspaper, and I walked in there and asked to talk to that reporter who wrote the story on me. They wouldn't let me talk to him. I had called a few times before, so I guess they knew who I was. All I wanted to do was talk to him and tell him my side of the story. And they almost called the cops on me and everything. What kind of journalism is that, man? What kind of journalism is that? You know, I don't know where he got his side, the other side of the story. I would have talked to just the prosecutor. How come I couldn't be interviewed and tell my side of the story? And they made me out to look so bad. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm walking back and forth. See, I wanted to make spaghetti, guys. And I wanted to do a show and always have an excuse. So I just said, you know what? Let's do it both. So I got my own place today. I'm in Albuquerque. You know, it's a little small. It's a 2-story, 1-bedroom, guys. It's $829 a month. And I came here to make it $13.50 an hour. You know, got a few raises and stuff, but nothing big. You can make it in outside of San Francisco. I'll tell you that. But Albuquerque, it's a work. Man, it's a work in progress. They got their crime out here. I'll tell you. But if you're out on pretrial, like Ray, you're probably going to a camp. You might be going to a low facility. And I'm going to tell you the difference between the two. A low, so 4 levels, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unless you count the Supermax. That's level 5. There's only one of those. Level 1, no fence. Camp, no fence. Come and go as you want. Level 2, they got a fence. It's non-violent, so to speak, people. You have 10 years or less to go to camp, 15 years or less to go to a low. But I'll tell you, they don't let anybody with guns used in the crime. You could have the guns on you, but if they're fired and stuff like that, you can't go to camp. And if you are a child molester, you can't go to camp. Guess where they send them all? The Chesters, the Chomos, whatever you want to call them, to the lows. Some lows, I heard 75% of them are that, and they got their own cars. And if you guys don't know what a car is, it's another prison vocabulary, like a race car. But this race car might only have black people in it. Might only have Mexicans in it. Might only have, they call them others, but in the feds, there's so many others that, like where I was at, the Samoans had their own group. The Tongans had their own group. It's anywhere else, they maybe call them Polynesian, Pacific Islanders or something. Usually they call them others. In the feds, you're going to have Korean, Vietnamese, Laos, Burma, Thailand, Singapore. They're all going to have their own. They're not others we represent. And higher up you go, like it is. Camps, again, I consider it a black table if I want. I might get some shit for it from 3 people, but I have to be invited. They do sit at their own tables during chow hop. But no, there's a little section in the middle you sit. They all mingle. So it's just not like that in the camp. There's going to be some bullies there, but they're not the kind of bullies that are going to, they could extort you for money. I had a bully try something on me, man. What was his name? Turtle. That fucker. Uh, I just, you know what I did, guys? My first day. So, they say you go to prison and you want to find the biggest, the biggest shot caller on the yard, right? Well, we called ours a track, whatever. I found the biggest shot caller on the yard. There was like 3 or 4 different shot callers. And I walked up to the biggest guy and I said, "Hey, man, my name's Sean." I told him my best jokes. I didn't tell him the best jokes, but I told him some stupid, silly jokes. And he didn't really laugh, but he goes, "This guy, this fucking guy." And he's like, "Oh, I go, you from New York?" He's, "No, I'm from fucking Boston." Right? This fucking guy. Right? And I did to the other ones, and that's what I did, man. I killed it with humor. You know? Don't give them the best jokes, because you might need those, but, they know I'm not a threat. But I got in a few little nitpicks on there. Told the guy to quit bitching at me because I was too slow doing the dishes my first week there. He, youngster, tried to tell me I'm an old grandpa being slow with that. Quit fucking bitching at me. Ooh, he schooled me. That took about a year before he'd even talk to me after that. He said, "The only reason I ain't gonna beat your ass is because I'm going home." And I go, "Dude, I said bitching, not bitch." Apparently, it doesn't matter. And, you learn as you go. You got to be pretty clean when you're there. There's some fat guys we used to drag through the showers and make them scrub, not to put water on them. A couple of people did die in the camp, murdered, so to speak, owed money for drugs or gambling, poker. Okay, at night there's one guard. Watches the whole 400 something inmates. He does a count at midnight, a count of 3. He gets a guard or 2 from the other person to come over for that little half hour, and they count you, and then they go back. So it's Las Vegas. They put out tables. They got poker. They're serving cocktails. I'm serious, man. Smoking cigars, and every hand, $500, $800, maybe $300 on a slow night for each hand for the pot. These guys are betting big, and they don't have the cash on hand or cash app to somebody's girlfriend on the outside, and you start your credit. I don't care how good you think it is, it can kill you. So if you're going to gamble, do not gamble on credit. And if there's any questions out there, let me know. Smashing garlic. I also worked at the Supermax. That was my day job. So a camper was considered a out of custody inmate. They have a job like a town driver, and they might have 2 or 3 of them. And what they do is usually, where I was in Florence, the Florence Federal Prison Complex had 4 prisons. One was the camp. So when people get released, even now the Supermax, they do, after their 25 years or whatever, they need a ride to the Greyhound bus station or the airport, and that's what the town driver does. Sometimes he picks people up and takes them there, and sometimes he runs errands. There's a guy who, there's like a truck driver, goes to warehouses, picks up food and uniforms and, deodorant and, laundry detergent and whatever they got. Goes and picks up loads of supplies for the prison. Gone all day, stopping here and there. I had a cellie for a minute. His name was Alaska. He drove, because he had the CDL, he drove like a garbage truck. Went to the dumps, dumped all our prison trash. Gone for hours, right? And they checked him once in a while, but he told me, how many times that thing, he could have had a garbage truck loaded full of anything. And most of the time they don't check. Maybe because they're lazy, or they trust you, or they figure nobody's stupid enough to do that. But in the camp, we got no fence, guys. So you don't need the guards you don't need to manipulate them and tell them, you don't bring in a carton of cigarettes by Tuesday when the wife gets off work from 7-Eleven at 10 o'clock at night next Tuesday like she does. And we know she catches the 16A bus home. Well, she ain't catching that bus home. She ain't going home unless you bring that carton of cigarettes in her. That don't happen at a camp. Hell, we just walk down the side of the road, pick up what you ordered from your girlfriend, right? Um, and the guards know, and what they know is they're going home at the end of the night, and they're not going to get hurt. They're not. They don't have to worry about safety. Although a fight can break out here and there, but you touch a guard. There was one incident. They got a panic button on them, and there was a guard. Some guy put his hands on the guard, and he didn't really do it, but I guess he said, "Oh, okay, man." But the guy told him no for something like he couldn't have a basketball or something. He's like, "All right," barely touched him. Hit the panic button. All these came out of the woodwork like cockroaches, man. I never seen so many prisoners. I mean, nurses and doctors, everybody's trained for that. They all on the ground. They got to get us on the ground. They keep you down there for like 5 hours, and it's you're locked down. All your privileges are taken away. That's an everyday occurrence in a penitentiary, guys. But in a camp, it's it happens. They'll do shakedowns. They'll shake down. They'll go through your room, your cubicle, your dorm, whatever, and just tear everything apart. Look for stuff. See, it's easy to get stuff into camp. Cigarettes, hell, a real cigarette. Like, you go to penitentiary, I understand. Okay, you can't get a cigarette like this. I mean, somebody will get it in and they'll take it, get the tobacco out, and make 4 of them, and call it a rollie and sell each rollie for $20. In a camp, this is $2 or $3. Sometimes it was so plentiful, about a whole pack for $20. But normally a pack's about $60 for a pack. Unheard of. And in our camp, if you got caught smoking, usually they have you pull weeds. Extra duty. They could be jerks if they want to. But usually they're not. Sometimes they just had us clean the bathroom. That's the only bad thing I did. Well, New Year's Eve, me and Vegas, guy named Vegas, we ordered a bottle of Hennessy and a bottle of Jack Daniels, and it was $150 for each bottle. One for Christmas Eve and one for New Year's. That was like one of our first year, but special occasion. Everybody, I can't say everybody did. So, but I never did no drugs in there. No. What's legal on the outside, a few drinks and some cigarettes. I mean, I could do that now. I'm off probation if I want, but maybe it's no fun now. But if you're out on free trial, you're probably going to camp. And hoping maybe some more people come on here. Let me do some cooking. I do got a few people watching me. Let me get my spaghetti going, guys. Got some fresh garlic, onions, mushrooms, a little bit of bell pepper in there. I'm going to make some meatballs too from scratch. Yeah, this is for the meatballs. The one thing I missed, even though I worked in the kitchen, we could get, and the culinary school, they let us order anything we want. One thing they would never get us was real butter. Real butter. I missed it. They have margarine all day long. But real butter, man. One of the first things I did was I probably had 5 pieces of toast with butter, melted butter, man. Yeah, so it wasn't so bad in the prison camp, guys. Not so bad at all. You'll get through it, and you do 10 years or less. And the average person there is doing 4 or 5 years. Now with the first step back and all that, you'll probably do half time. If you take RDAP, for sure you will. And RDAP, to get into RDAP, anybody can get in there. The judge will recommend it. Anybody can go, but you want the time off. And you need something on paper showing that you had a problem with alcohol or drugs before you did the crime. Because if you can't prove that on paper, or some like 2 DUIs in 5 years or something, you got to have you got to be evaluated by either a drug counselor, a probation officer. You can find one how to do it. They got to have the forms. You could do a doctor, a therapist, a treatment provider, or a social worker. You guys, well, I got the certificates in. Let's see here. I haven't put this new one up yet. Yeah, I am a certified clinician now in the state of New Mexico. What I am is New Mexico Credential Board for Behavioral Health Professional, Certified Peer Support Worker. I'm also substance abuse and mental health clinician. Went and got these little certificates and stuff after prison. So now I can write you a letter, get you an RDAP, and I have the form. I'm doing it for $250, guys. Call them Justin Pepperdi. I'm charging 10 grand. And if there are, the cheapest I heard are maybe $2,500. $250, guys. I got it for like 9 people. They all got in, no problem. Because I'm not trying to do this for the money. It cost me more than postage and stuff. So yeah, my door might have some company. Anyways, yeah, so give me a call for that, guys, if you want. But any help you want, just call me. I'm always glad to answer the phone if I can. I'll call you back. And well, I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today. What am I going to talk about? Let's see. So in a camp, I don't know. Now I'm running a lost for words. How long have I been on here? Well, I'm coming. I got somebody in my girl. This girl. Anyways, I may come back on later. I'm with my door. I got company, guys.